Hello students, welcome to the lecture on storage devices, and after the lecture we will be able to learn the following objectives. Discuss memory management, explain main memory, describe secondary storage and backup memory, learning about brain versus memory, understand driving naming conventions in a PC. Let's start with a brief introduction to storage devices. Computers are designed to allow data to be input, processed, stored, and output. There are primarily two types of storage a computer uses when it boots, loads an operating system like Windows, and begins to perform useful functions. Primary storage, which is more popularly called the simply memory. Primary storage is where a computer stores data on a temporary basis so it can process the data. Think of primary storage as a short-term memory. Primary storage is a type of memory that is directly accessible to a computer processor, and it is volatile because it is temporary in nature and is erased when the power is turned off. Secondary storage, which is more popularly referred to as simply storage, we will also briefly discuss tertiary storage and offline storage. Secondary storage is where a computer stores data it is not currently processing but which it may need at some later time. Secondary storage can be thought of as long-term memory or storage, and it is non-volatile in nature because data remains intact even when the power to a computer is turned off.
Today we will discuss a timeline of external secondary computer storage devices. We will tell you their primary uses and capacities. There are hundreds, if not thousands of devices that have been invented, but we will focus on the more common ones.
Punch cards were invented in 1725 by two Frenchmen. In 1881, Hermann Hollerith, who would later form IBM, designed a punch card machine to tabulate census data. Early digital computers used punch cards, often prepared using key punch machines, as the primary medium for input of both computer programs and data. Now obsolete as a recording medium, punch cards were used through the 20th century for input, processing, and data storage. Magnetic tape was invented in 1951 by the newly formed UNIVAC company for computer data storage. Since that time, improvements have been made to the materials comprising the tape to make it stronger and lightweight. Over the years, magnetic tape recording storage capacities have increased from 2.3 megabytes to 5 terabytes. Magnetic tape is still widely used today, mainly for mainframe backups. Floppy disks were invented in 1971 by IBM, which were initially known as memory disks. Floppy disks began as an 8-inch flexible disk, then progressed to a 5.25-inch flexible disk, and finally a 3.5-inch rigid disk. They ranged in capacity from 100 kilobytes to 1.44 megabytes. Now obsolete, most computer manufacturers no longer include floppy drives in their new systems.
External hard drives were introduced by Apple Computer in 1983. They were initially bulky and designed for backup and storage, where the drive would stay in one place. External hard drives are similar to the hardware inside the computer, except they are self-contained within a case. By 1998, hard drives became popular as more efficient power sources and cooling solutions became widely available. External hard drives have currently reached a capacity of 2 terabytes. CD-ROMs, or compact disc read-only memory, was developed in 1985 through a joint partnership of Sony and Philips. A CD-ROM is a 4.7-inch platter which spins within the drive at a high rate of speed. This translates to faster access to data but is plagued by read errors caused by disk imperfections and laser irregularities within the reader. CD-ROMs are being gradually replaced by DVDs and Blu-ray drives. DVDs, once known as digital video discs, but now referred to as digital versatile discs, were invented and developed in 1995 by Philips, Sony, Toshiba, and Panasonic. Originally intended as a medium for digital representations of movies and other multimedia presentations that combine sound with graphics, they were eventually adopted as a computer storage medium. DVD capacities range from 4.7 gigabytes to 8.5 gigabytes.
USB flash drives were invented in 1999 by Israeli company M Systems. USB flash drives are often used for the same purposes for which floppy disks or CD-ROMs were used in the past, such as storage, backup, and transfer of computer files. Flash drives contain no moving parts and therefore are considered more stable than some other storage media. Currently available retail flash drives range from 1 gigabyte to 256 gigabytes. iPods were first developed by Apple Computer in 2001. Apple initially relied on a hard disk for storage. The first iPods had a 5 gigabyte storage capacity and only worked in conjunction with a Macintosh computer, using iTunes as a music organizational tool. Current iPod models use flash memory, have become much smaller and lighter, and feature a storage capacity which can be used for computer files as well as music. Blu-ray discs were unveiled at a C-Tech exhibition in October of 2000 by Sony. The Blu-ray disc is an optical disc storage medium developed by multiple electronic companies known as the Blu-ray Disc Associations. The same physical size as a CD or DVD, Blu-ray discs have a capacity of 250 gigabytes. Like DVDs, Blu-ray was initially created for digital movies, but was quickly adopted for computer storage.
Let's now take a look on memory management. Memory management is the programming discipline of managing the life cycles of objects and freeing them when they are no longer needed. Memory management in a COCOA application that does not use garbage collection is based on a reference counting model. Managing object memory is a matter of performance. If an application does not free unneeded objects, its memory of footprint grows and performance suffers. The rules of memory management. Memory management rules, sometimes referred to as the ownership policy, help to explicitly manage memory in Objective-C code. We own any object create by allocating memory for it or copying it. Related methods: alloc with zone, copy with zone, mutable copy with zone. If you are not the creator of an object but want to ensure it stays in memory for to use, we can express an ownership interest in it. If we own an object either by creating it or expressing an ownership interest, we are responsible for releasing it when we no longer need it. The aspects of memory management. Auto-release pools. Sending auto-release to an object marks the object for later release, which is useful when we want the released object to persist beyond the current scope. Auto-releasing an object puts it in an auto-release pool, an instance of NS, auto-release pool, which is created for an arbitrary program scope. When program execution exits that scope, the objects in the pool are released. DE allocation. When an object's retained count drops to 0, the runtime calls the delock method of the object's class just before it destroys the object. A class implements this method to free any resources the object holds, including objects pointed to by its instance variables. Factory methods. Many framework classes define class methods that, as a convenience, create objects of the class for you. These returned objects are not guaranteed to be valid beyond the receiving method's scope. The types of memory and storage. Hard disk drives. Every computer has one or more disk drives devices that store information on metal or plastic disk. Hard disks can store a vast amount of information, including photos, videos, music, documents, programs, and much more. Computers' hard disk drives stores information even when the computer is turned off. RAM or random access memory. Random access memory is temporary storage space that computer uses to run Windows and other programs. RAM is not used for storage when computer is turned off. It is different from disk space, which is the amount of storage space available on the computer's hard disk. External hard disk. The simplest way to add more hard disk space to PC is to plug in an external hard disk. An external hard disk is a great way to store more digital photos, videos, music, and other large files. It can supplement the storage space on the computer's internal hard disk, especially if the internal hard disk is running low on space. An external hard disk is also a great way to store a backup copy of important files. To install an external hard disk, plug it into the computer and connect the power cord. Most of these hard disks plug into a USB port. USB flash drives. A USB or universal serial bus flash drive is a small portable device that plugs into a computer's USB port. Like a hard disk, a USB flash drive stores information but usually a lot less than most hard drives. USB flash drives vary in size and shape and can hold gigabytes of information. They are sometimes called thumb drives. USB flash drives are also called pen drives, keychain drives, key drives, or memory sticks. CD and DVD drives. CD drives use lasers to read or retrieve the data from a CD. Many CD drives can also write or record data onto the CDs. If you have a recordable disk drive, you can store copies of the files on blank CDs. DVD drives can do everything that CD drives can, plus read DVDs. If you have a DVD drive, we can watch movies on the computer or play music CDs. Many DVD drives can record data onto blank DVDs. Memory cards. Flash memory cards store computer information such as text, pictures, and music. We can erase and reuse the memory cards over and over. Most digital cameras store pictures and videos on a compact flash memory card or a secure digital SD card. Let us understand the main memory. The main memory in a computer is called random access memory. It is also known as RAM. RAM is one of the faster types of memory and has the capacity to allow data to be read and written. When the computer is shut down, all of the content held in RAM is purged. Main memory is available in two types, the dynamic random access memory or DRAM and static random access memory or SRAM. There are two types of main memory, RAM and ROM. RAM stands for random access memory. RAM can be written to and also read from. All the data and the programs are stored in the RAM while in use. It is a good idea when we buy a computer to get one with as much RAM as possible, as this improves the performance of the computer. ROM, however, stands for read-only memory. We cannot write anything into ROM, but it holds programs used when the computer is switched on that, if lost, would make the computer useless. Random access memory or RAM. RAM is a working memory storage. All the data which the PC uses and works with during operation are stored here. Data are stored on drives, typically the hard drive. However, for the CPU to work with those data, they must be read into the working memory storage, which is made up of RAM chips. To examine RAM, we need to look at the following: RAM types: FPM, EDO, ECC, and SDRAM. RAM modules SIMM and DIMM in different versions. RAM types: the traditional RAM type is DRAM, dynamic RAM, and the other type is SRAM, static RAM. SRAM continues to remember its content, while DRAM must be refreshed every few milliseconds. DRAM is by far the cheapest to build. Newer and faster DRAM types are developed continuously. Currently, there are at least 4 types: FPM, a fast page mode; ECC, error correcting code; EDO, extended data output; SDRAM, synchron data RAM; read-only memory or ROM. Read-only memory or ROM is a simple type of memory whose contents cannot change even after the loss of electrical power. ROM chip contains fixed startup instructions. It cannot be written or erased by the computer user. Only trained programmers can write by using special equipments. Read-only memory ROM is a simple type of memory whose contents cannot be changed even after the loss of electrical power. Read-only memory chip, it contains a fixed startup instructions. It cannot be written or erased by the computer user. Only trained programmers can write by using special equipment. Manufacturer programmed ROM. ROM is one in which the contents are programmed by the manufacturer during the construction of the chip. It is unalterable. ROM BIOS means read-only memory basic input-output services. Generally, ROM chip of a computer stores operating system, disk drive, printer, drivers, etc. This ROM stores program and data which do not change and are frequently used. User-programmed ROM. The user-programmed ROM is one in which user can load and store read-only programs and data. The user-programmed ROM includes the following: programmable read-only memory, PROM. It can be written once via an irreversible process. PROM is a non-volatile storage, that is, the stored information cannot be changed even if the power is switched off. Erasable programmable read-only memory, EPROM. Data on EPROM can be erased to store new information. EPROM chips are generally used by R&D personnel who test the efficiency of the system with new programs. EPROM is of 2 types, namely electrically erasable programmable read-only memory, EPROM, and ultraviolet erasable programmable memory. Flash memory. Flash memory is small variant of electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. These memory chips are the latest known storage devices that are available in capacities ranging from 1 MB to 512 MB. Storage and its needs. With hard drives now storing tons of data and SSDs becoming more and more common, computer storage can now range from 64 GB to 3 TB. For those considering purchasing a new computer for work, whether it is a laptop or a desktop, and storage needs remain a key concern. People using their computer to simply access documents and the internet may not want to delve into the wallet to buy a top-of-the-line device, while workers using their computers to store documents, spreadsheets, presentations and any other file may look at more expensive devices with greater storage capacity. Let's talk about secondary storage and backup storage. Secondary storage devices, as indicated by the name, save data after it has been saved by the primary storage device, usually referred to as RAM or random access memory. From the moment we start typing a letter in Microsoft Word, for example, and until you click on save, your entire work is stored in RAM. As a result, additional memory, called auxiliary memory or secondary storage, is used with most computer systems. Secondary storage is non-volatile and has lower cost per bit stored, but it generally has an operating speed far slower than that of the primary storage. Hard disk operations. The basic physical construction of a hard disk drive consists of spinning disks with heads that move over the disk and store data in tracks and sectors. The heads read and write data in concentric rings called tracks, which are divided into segments called sectors, which typically store 512 bytes each. A hard disk drive usually has one head per platter side, with all the heads mounted on a common carrier device or a rack. The heads move radially across the disk in unison. They cannot move independently because they are mounted on the same carrier or the rack, called an actuator. Most drives spin even faster with 4200 rounds per minute, 5400 rounds per minute, 7200 rounds per minute, 10,000 rounds per minute or 15,000 rounds per minute. Most standard issue drives found in PCs today spin at 5400 rounds per minute, with high performance models spinning at 72,000 rounds per minute. Floppy disk drives. Most modern personal computers do not have floppy drives anymore. The small 3.5 inches disks they read only hold 1.44 MB of data, so they have become somewhat obsolete when compared to the data that are storing capabilities of USB flash drives, which are up to 256 GB, and CD drives that is 700 MB. Floppies are non-volatile storage. The data remains when the computer power is turned off. They can be read or written to over and over again. The high-capacity floppy drivers such as a SuperDisk LS120 and LS240 and flash memory devices such as USB keychain are covered separately. The floppy is still sometimes used as a system installation and configuration device, especially when troubleshooting Winchester architecture. Removable disks were like removable disks today, in which the read-write heads remain in the drive and make contact with the platter after the cartridge inserted. The term later referred to all fixed hard disks because the heads and the platters are always encased in the same sealed unit. See also Winchester. The BM's Winchester's disk was a removable cartridge, but the heads and the platters were built in a sealed unit and were not separable. Optical disc. An optical disc is mounted on an optical disc drive for reading, writing of information on it. An optical disc drive contains all the mechanical, electrical and electronic components for holding an optical disc and for reading or writing of information on it. That is, it contains the tray on which the disc is kept, read, write, laser beams assembly and motor to rotate the disc. Access time. Access times for the optical disc are in the range of 100 to 300 milliseconds. Compare this with the access times of floppy disk, which are in the range of 100 to 200 milliseconds, and that of hard disks, which are in the range of 10 to 30 milliseconds. Disk operations, read-write operations. Heads moved to appropriate track seek time. Wait for the sector to appear under the head rotationary latency. Read or write the sector transfer time, calculating the disk access time on different cases. The file is stored contiguous. Access time equals to seek time plus latency time plus n or retrieval time. The types of optical disk. CD-ROM. CD-ROM stands for compact disk read-only memory. It is a spin-off of audio CD technology and works much like audio CDs used in music systems. CD-ROM disc is a shiny silver color metal disc, usually of 5 to 4 inches diameter, that is 12 centimeters. It is made of polybicarbonate plastic, and a thin layer of pure aluminium is applied to make the surface reflective. Apart from the most common 120mm 74 by 8 minute disc having storage capacity of 650 MB to 700 MB, 80mm 21-minute disc called mini CD having 184 MB storage is also available. Worm disc or CD recordable CDR disc. Worm stands for Write Once, Read Many. Worm discs allow users to create their own CD-ROM disc by using a CD recordable or CDR drive attached to a computer as a regular peripheral device. Worm discs look like standard CD-ROM discs, are purchased blank and later encoded using a CDR drive. The information recorded on a worm disc by a CDR drive can be read by any ordinary CD-ROM drive. CD read-write CDRW disc. A CD read-write CDRW disc is very similar to a worm disc, with the exception that we can erase the previous content and write on it multiple times. CDRW discs are a little expensive than CDR discs, but are a great cost saver because they can be reused many times due to their erase capability. Digital video or versatile disc (DVD). DVD was designed primarily to store and distribute movies. However, it is fast becoming mainstream optical disc as prices are reducing and need for large capacity storage is increasing. It is similar to CD-ROM in principle, but it is denser in recording data. There are variants of DVD, single layer disc and double layer disc. Single layer disc has storage capacity of 4.7 GB, whereas double layer disc has a storage capacity of 8.5 GB. VCD. VCD stands for Video Compact Disc, and basically it is a CD that contains moving pictures and sound. If you are familiar with regular audio music CDs, then we will know what a VCD looks like. A VCD has the capacity to hold up to 74 to 80 minutes on 650 MB to 700 MB CDs, respectively, of full motion video along with quality stereo sound. VCDs use a compression standard called MPEG to store the video and audio. Zip drive. A zip drive is a small portable disk drive used primarily for backing up and archiving personal computer files. The trademarked zip drive was developed and is sold by Lomega Corporation. Zip drives and discs come in two sizes. The 100 megabyte size actually holds 100,431,872 bytes of data or the equivalent of 70 floppy diskettes. Flash drives. Flash drive is a compact device of the size of a pen. It comes in various shapes and stylish designs such as pen shape, wallet shape, etc., and may have different added features. It enables easy transport of data from one computer to another. It is a plug-and-play device that simply plugs into a USB Universal Serial Bus port of a computer. Blu-ray disc. A Blu-ray disc or BD is a next-generation optical disc format that is meant for storage of high-definition video and high-density data. The Blu-ray standard was jointly developed by a group of consumer electronics and PC organized called the Blu-ray Disc Association (BDA). As compared to the HD DVD format, its main competitor, Blu-ray, has capacity per layer 25 instead of 15 gigabytes, but may initially be more expensive to produce. Let's now take a review on brain versus memory. Computers and other memory storage devices. Computers have limited memory capacity, even though we have lots of additional external aids for memory storage like external hard disks, flash memories, memory cards, etc. These data gets distributed around various sectors on a compact disk or the memory slot. These are stored in a language which are only zeros and ones. The data as such stored in the memory space of the computers cannot integrate by itself until any programmer is coded to perform that particular operation. So we can store data up to 140 GB easily. Human brain, the powerhouse of everything. Human brain weighs more than electronic memory storage devices. It is bigger too. It may be slower in performing some tedious calculations than computers. The computer memory can hold various details but cannot understand. The human brain can process emotions too. It controls the most complex mechanism, the most complex machine in the world, the human being. The brain has various sections performing various tasks. Data access methods. Sequential access storage. Punched cards, paper tape, and magnetic tape are examples of sequential access storage media. When operating in a sequential environment, a particular record can be read only by first reading all the records that come before it in the file. When we store a file on tape, the 125th record cannot be read until the 124 records in front of it are read. The records are read in sequence. Direct access storage. Direct access storage allows accessing the 125th record without first having to read the 124 records in front of it. Magnetic disks and drums are examples of direct access storage media. Data can be obtained quickly from anywhere on the media. Random access storage. Random access storage media refers to magnetic core, semiconductor, thin film and bubble storage. Here, a given item of data can be selected from anywhere in storage without having to scan any preceding items. And the access time is independent of the storage location. Here we will understand the driving naming conventions in a PC. Use a period to separate the base file name from the extension in the name of directory or file. Use a backslash to separate the components of a path. The backslash divides the file name from the path to it and one directory name from another directory name in a path. Use a backslash as required as part of the volume names. For example, the C drive in C path backslash file, or the double backslash server backslash share in double backslash server backslash share backslash path and backslash file for Universal Naming Convention USC names. Volume designators, drive letters, are similarly case insensitive. Use any character in the current code page for a name, including the Unicode characters and characters in the extended character set 128 to 255. Integer value 0, sometimes referred to as the ASCII-NUL character. Now, in the end, let us summarize what we have learned in this lecture. Data the computer is currently processing, or the data which the computer knows it is about to need for processing, is stored in primary storage. A USB or universal serial bus flash drive is a small portable device that plugs into a computer's USB port. Read-only memory or ROM is a simple type of memory whose contents cannot be changed even after loss of electrical power. Secondary storage devices, as indicated by the name, save data after it has been saved by the primary storage device, usually referred to as RAM or random access memory. An optical disk drive contains all the mechanical, electrical and electronic components for holding an optical disk and for reading, writing of information on it. A zip drive is a small portable disk drive that is used primarily for backing up and archiving personal computer files. Direct access storage, it allows accessing the 125th record without first having to read the 124 records in front of it. Random access storage media, it refers to the magnetic core, semiconductor, thin film and the bubble storage. Here, a given item of data can be selected from anywhere in storage without having to scan any preceding items.